We turn now to the mysterious death of Valerie Hamilton, a 23-year-old swim coach who walked into a North Carolina bar one night and was found dead days later, stuffed into a storage locker. The prime suspect, a convicted sex offender. With each new detail from the investigation, new questions, not only about how she died, but also how she lived. Her father, a police chief, now not only grieves for her, he's also defending her, as Youngji Janice reports.
This is not a murder. There's no murder at all. She overdosed in her sleep.
She didn't sound like she was on anything. She didn't sound like she was drunk.
He woke up and she was dead.
What do you think happened that night?
You know, I don't know. We may never know. You may never know what happened.
What Concord Police Chief Merle Hamilton does know is that his daughter Valerie was found dead in this storage locker after a late night with Michael Neal Harvey, a registered sex offender with a lengthy criminal record, including rape, breaking and entering, and drug possession. Do you think that he killed your daughter?
I don't know. I don't know enough about it to say that. I think if he wasn't with my daughter that night, she would be alive.
But now Hamilton finds himself having to answer questions about the lifestyle his daughter led.
It's very, very unfortunate to me that people will see one segment of a case and then almost immediately start laying some semblance of blame on the victim.
Valerie Hamilton went missing a week ago Wednesday. She was seen leaving a local bar with Michael Harvey. When she didn't show up to her job as a swim instructor, friends and coworkers began to worry.
It's just not like her to not show up and not let us know that I'm sick or my car is broken or I had something else going on.
We felt it. I think the police side of me knew, and the father side was hoping that anything.
Valerie did make at least one phone call after leaving the bar at around 3 a.m. to her friend, Ashley Barton.
She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm laying in bed sleeping." She's like, "Oh, well, can you come out to the hot tub with me and my friend?"
Late Saturday night.
I'm very sad to report to you tonight that we have recovered the body of Ms. Valerie Hamilton.
Police gave few details, saying only that her body was wrapped in material and that the cause of death was not immediately obvious. The next morning, the police chief thrust his daughter's case into the national spotlight with a plea.
I want to ask Robin, my law enforcement brothers and sisters across the country to help me with this. They took my daughter, guys, and play it right, play it by the rules, but y'all get out there and find this guy for me, and when it comes back my way, I'll pay you back.
Just hours later, FBI and U.S. Marshals arrested Harvey, allegedly high on heroin, hundreds of miles away in his hometown of Niagara Falls.
We're fortunate got a tip, and that tip was successful.
That night in Concord, hundreds celebrated Valerie's life, and at that vigil, Hamilton mouthed the words to the song that defined their relationship.
There's a song that was her ringtone for what I called. I just think that if she was alive, she was waiting for me to come through the door.
The next day, as family and friends gathered for her funeral, the suspect spoke out.
This is not a murder. There's no murder at all.
Outside his first court appearance, his mother came to his defense.
I know my son. He wouldn't hurt no one. He wouldn't even hurt a fly.
And his friends began to come forward.
He was all messed up, so he hid the body. I mean, yeah, hiding the body was wrong, but, I mean, it's just like a shock, How'd you feel if you woke up and someone was dead next to you?
Police released preliminary evidence that made back Harvey's claim. Investigators say Hamilton willingly left that bar with him. They found no signs of physical trauma on her body. They did find evidence of drug usage and say witnesses told them Valerie appeared to need immediate medical attention, but that Harvey did not help her get it. They believe he made great efforts to clean up any potential crime scenes before he disposed of her body. We read today that he had violated his probation 5 times in the last 3 years. Do you feel like there was a failure on the justice system's part, that this man perhaps should have been behind bars?
I think he should have been behind bars. Most people deserve a second chance. But you shouldn't get a third and a fourth and a fifth and a sixth chance.
The medical examiner is still processing Valerie's toxicology report and sexual examination kit. It's not clear what she may have taken, but police say drugs were involved. Friends say that just wasn't Valerie.
Did Valerie use drugs?
No. Can I say that she's never experimented? I don't know. We never saw her do drugs, never.
Doing this job for a long time, I know that when you become an adult, you not only get all the positives of adult, of being independent and whatnot, you know, you start chasing adult demons instead of children demons.
But this father says whatever her actions, his daughter's death was not her fault.
There are things being said about my daughter that would not be said if it would have been my son, if I'd have had a son. The questions about why was she out late? Well, why did she just leave with him? If that was a guy, nobody would be saying that.
Do you feel that as a father now you're having to defend your daughter in her death?
I know who my daughter was, and her friends knew who she was. My wife knows who she was. My daughter knows who she was. More particularly, my God knows who she was. And I'm not going to defend her. There's nothing to defend.
Michael Harvey's extradition to Charlotte has been delayed because he's said to be going through drug withdrawal. It is not clear what charges he will ultimately face. In a few days, the chief will be back on the beat with a renewed sense of purpose, remembering the daughter he called Val, now gone forever.
She was so loving and so open. She embraced everybody. Ultimately, that you know, might have led to where she is now.
I'm Yunji Denise for Nightline in Charlotte.